Hi everyone, can you see me? I think, yeah, okay, cool. Hi everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining our quiz today, and thank you also to Parta for organising such a fantastic event. So today's theme is going to be self-drive in the Northern Territory. As travel becomes more normal, self-drive will be more of an important part of any itinerary, and it allows clients to keep control of where they go and when. And luckily the NT has some really great and super easy driving routes that can take you to all of our diverse and iconic locations. So oh, why didn't that work? Looks like I'm having difficulties now.
Yeah, just pop on full screen in the bottom right hand corner. Oh yeah, all there as well.
Okay.
No, the right hand corner, the little icon that looks the same.
I don't have that on there. Am I going mad? Well, just. Ooh.
Or Emma can make it go live on her side.
Sorry, I'll do it.
Yeah, resume slideshow. Perfect. There we go.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, this is where the Northern Territory sits in Australia. Our international gateway is our fabulous capital city, Darwin. It's just 4.5-hour flight from Singapore or 2.5 hours from Bali. And you can also fly in from elsewhere in Australia, or alternatively, you can of course drive. We've got really well connected highways that mean you can drive in from Queensland, Western Australia and South Australia. So on the right hand side of the slide, you'll see a simplified map of the NT. So it's split into two regions, and we talk about it as the top end and the red centre. The top end consists of Katherine, Darwin, Kakadu and Arnhem Land. And then the red centre is made up of Tennant Creek, Alice Springs and Uluru, of course. The NT really is such a vibrant and diverse destination. It's teeming with wildlife, there's ancient culture, amazing adventure and incredible landscapes. And with wide open spaces and breathtaking icons such as Uluru and Kings Canyon, it really is the ideal destination for independent travel and a socially safe distant holiday experience. So I'm going to start today in the top end and move down the territory and end in the red centre. The top end really contrasts the red centre. It's very green and tropical. It's teeming with wildlife and incredible waterfalls. Its beautiful national parks are perfect for nature lovers and adventure seekers. So in the top end, we have the Nature's Way driving route, which connects Darwin, Kakadu, Katherine and Litchfield National Park in an easy loop. It's a really lovely drive, and we recommend clients take 5 or 6 days for this route. So we will begin in Darwin, our vibrant and multicultural capital city. Darwin's the gateway to the NT, as I've already said, and it's the closest capital city in Australia to Asia, which is reflected in the multicultural nature of this city. We recommend staying at least a couple of nights to make the most of it. Darwin is really famous for fabulous food. We've got outdoor markets, real deep-rooted local culture, and a range of adventure activities. And local markets are a particularly large part of Darwin's personality, which brings me to my first quiz question, please. So what is the name of Darwin's most famous outdoor market? Is it Mindor Beach Sunset Market, Darwin Beach Market, Tiwi Markets, the George Brown Market, or Dinah Beach Markets? Great, the majority of you got it right. Yes, it is Mindor Beach Sunset Markets. Mindor Beach Sunset Markets are open May through to October and host over 60 food stalls offering a complete range of cuisines, which range from Indonesian to Sri Lankan, there's Greek, there's Japanese, and tons more. And there's also live music and arts and crafts, and it's a great place to buy local souvenirs. So it's a really fun place to visit. And a really lovely kind of evening experience would be to buy your dinner at the market and then just jump over to the beach, which is right next door, and watch the sunset. Darwin is also famous for our spectacular orange sunsets. Darwin really is a great place for foodies. Due to our close proximity to Asia, plus the fresh local produce, there are plenty of extraordinary places to sample during your stay. But it's not all about food in Darwin. There are plenty of experiences to enjoy. There's diving with crocs at Crocosaurus Cove. You can enjoy a sunset cruise, or you can take a scenic flight over the wetlands. And then for a real deep dive into the NT culture, you can always take a day trip to the Tiwi Islands. So they're only a 2.5-hour boat ride by ferry from Darwin. And you'll be taken on a guided tour by the locals who'll teach you about their traditional lifestyle. They've got stunning artworks and beautiful textiles. So it really is a great day out. So Kakadu National Park is our next stop along the Nature's Way driving route. It's about a 3.5-hour drive from Darwin, and we recommend staying at least 2 days. Kakadu is huge. It's the largest national park in the whole of Australia, and it's a really great place to learn about Aboriginal culture, to see top-end wildlife, and to see incredible landscapes such as this. You can learn about Dreamtime and see ancient rock art, which is thousands of years old. And activities include cruising along the Yellowwater Billabong to see saltwater crocs. You can visit the Aboriginal Cultural Centre or watch sunset over Ubea Rock or take an incredible scenic flight. There are also amazing swimming holes. You can take a cool dip and soak in your surroundings. So the one in this image is called Gunlum Falls. Of course, only swim where it is safe. Always check the signs, but this is a really lovely swimming hole with stunning views across Kakadu. I'm sure you'll all agree. So carrying on along the Nature's Way driving route, we drive 3 hours from Kakadu to Katherine, which brings me on to our next question. In which national park can you find Katherine Gorge? Litchfield National Park, Uluru Katajuta National Park, Kakadu National Park, Nitmaluk National Park, or Wataka National Park? We just wait for the answers. So 33% of you got the right answer. It is Nitmaluk National Park. So Nitmaluk National Park is where you'll find Katherine. Katherine Gorge is made up of 13 individual gorges, so it really is enormous. There's plenty of space to play and explore. And we recommend staying 1 or 2 nights here. It's a real haven for nature lovers, and you can fish, you can birdwatch, or you can just take really lovely long walks. Other activities you can do include kayaking through the gorges. You can take a scenic flight in a helicopter. We also highly recommend clients book a cruise through the gorges. And there are also dining cruises, so you can have a cruise at sunset and have dinner, or there are breakfast cruises available, both really lovely options. And there are also some really beautiful hot springs, such as in this photo. So this is Bitter Springs, but you can also visit Mataranka or Katherine Hot Springs. So leaving Katherine behind us and heading back to Darwin along the Nature's Way driving route, you'll come past Litchfield National Park. So Litchfield National Park is the NT's best kept secret, and we highly recommend stop here. It's only an hour drive from Darwin, and there's lovely waterfalls and swimming holes that you can enjoy, and it's a great stop off point between Katherine and Darwin. So now we want to move into the Red Centre. This is Australia's outback, and it holds icons such as Uluru and Kings Canyon. The Red Centre completely contrasts with the top end, consists of red desert and incredibly unique rock formations. And just like we had the Nature's Way driving route in the top end, we've got the Red Centre driving route in the Red Centre, of course. So this takes you from Alice Springs down to Uluru, up to Kings Canyon, and then back to Alice on a loop. If your clients do want to do the full loop, they will need a four-wheel drive between Kings Canyon and Alice Springs. But if not, they can just go the way they've come. And we recommend taking at least 5 days for this route. So Alice will most likely be your first stop on the Red Centre Way. You can fly to Alice from Darwin or other major Australian cities, but you can also drive from Darwin on a route called the Explorers Way. It's a real authentic outback town surrounded by red desert and the McDonnell Ranges. And there's plenty to do, so stay at least a couple of nights to make the most. You can visit the Kangaroo Sanctuary or visit the Telegraph Station for a history lesson. There's the Alice Springs School of the Air to learn about the children of the outback and how they're schooled remotely. And then a really popular tour is getting up super early and watching sunrise over the town with outback ballooning. It's a really, really special experience. And then following the Red Centre Way from Alice, you'll get to Uluru in about 5 hours. It's a very easy drive and definitely worth the miles. So our third question of the NT quiz comes now. How old is Uluru? Is it 60,000 years old, 95,000 years old, 100,000 years old, 300 million years old, or 600 million years old? So please put your answers in now. Amazing. So the majority of you got it right. It is 600 million years old. So it is absolutely ancient, and it holds a huge spiritual significance to the local people. It's dual heritage listed for natural beauty and ancient culture, and it's such an extraordinary place to visit. You can't go to Australia without visiting Uluru. We recommend starting your visit with a bacewalk around Uluru to get close enough to touch the rock and experience just how significant and huge this icon is. The full bacewalk is about 10 kilometers, but there are also shorter versions available, and you can take a ranger guided tour and they'll teach you all about the significance of this spiritual place. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, the rock climb closed in 2019. However, there are still plenty of activities to do around Uluru. So my next question will pop up in a second. How many activities are available around Uluru? Is it 10? Is it 45? Is it 50? Is it 68? Or is it 100? Just wait to get all the answers. Perfect. I think some of you may have watched my presentations before. Yeah, there are over 100 activities available, and these include camel riding. You can ride a Harley Davidson around the base of the rock. You can cycle around the base. You can get a Segway. You can do skydiving. You can do helicopter rides. So there's plenty to do. And just a quick one on this image here. This is Field of Light. It's completely unique. It's an art installation made up of 50,000 spheres of light spanning an area the size of 7 football fields. And this once temporary installation has actually been so popular, it's now been extended indefinitely, which is really, really great news. So Kings Canyon is my last stop on the Red Centre road trip. Kings Canyon is set in Wataka National Park, and it's a 300-meter high sandstone wall with incredible views that stretch all across the desert. So it's a 3-hour drive from Uluru, and we recommend staying overnight. So if your clients feel like exploring, there are walking trails, 4x4 tracks and camel rides. But a really popular activity is the Kings Canyon Rim Walk. And that brings me to my final question of our NT quiz. How many kilometers is the Kings Canyon Rim Walk? Is it 1K, 6K, 10K, 20 kilometers, or 50 kilometers? Just gathering all the answers. So this was the second most popular answer. It is a 6-kilometer walk, so not quite the 20-kilometer the majority we thought it would be. That would be pretty hot and tiring. Oh, I just went back, sorry. So the Kings Canyon Rim Walk it's amazing. So it's a 6-kilometer circuit, which will take you down into the Garden of Eden, which is a really beautiful rock hole surrounded by rare plants. And then you'll ascend to 360-degree panoramic views over the desert. It's suitable for relatively fit travelers. And the first 500 steps of the rim walk is the most challenging, but the view from the top will totally be worth it. It really takes your breath away. So we obviously recommend tackling at sunrise before the temperature rises, and it'll take between 3 and 4 hours. So thank you so much for joining our quiz today. I hope you learned something. And if you have any questions or comments, or if you've been to any of these places and want to talk to me about it, then I would love to hear from you. Yeah, and thank you, Parta, for organising.